Hello, GM, you all. We are back with the Dollar Trade Show. And today, in a new day, we don't have Grumpy Mondays anymore. Now we have Grumpy Tuesdays. and and
Terrible
today we
Tuesdays.
were terrible. Okay, great. Terrible Tuesdays. I like that. No, I'm kidding. Today we are going to have a great show. We have a special guest here. Welcome, Tommy Thomas from Shadow Markets. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for being here in the show. Let's talk about prediction markets and let's talk about shadow markets. Before we start, guys, as always, I need to remember you nothing that we say here. It's financial advice. Great life advice you get from the show, but no financial advice for sure. Hey, Tommy, let's
Is it
get
only financial
started.
advice if it's alpha and it actually works? Otherwise, it's not financial
Oh yeah.
advice.
Yeah, if you can make money from anything that we talk here, I mean you can say that you were advised by us. Yeah, that's it. So hey Tommy, great to have you in the show. Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, who got how did you get here? How did you get into prediction markets, man?
Oh, okay. Thanks again for bringing us on the show. My name is Tommy Thomas, and I'm one of the co-founders of Shadow Markets. It's a copy trading, user-friendly copy trading platform on top of Polymarket at the moment, but hopefully to expand from there on out. One of my co-founders hopefully will join us later on today as well as the show goes on, and it'd be great for you guys to meet him as well. It's been a team effort pushing Shadow Markets out. But how did I get into predictions markets? So I got into the crypto Web3 space around 5, 6 years ago. That's when I went full time in Web3 and crypto and started working full time in the space. And the first thing that I actually wanted to build way back when was a predictions market. Ironically
Mhm.
enough, I think you guys also remember maybe that the first ICO was a Ethereum ICO was a prediction market. So I was thinking
Algor.
about
Yeah.
predictions market all the way back then because I was really fascinated by these other predictions markets that were existing at the time, like Predicted, which was like a university research project at the time. I thought it was fascinating to in like be able to bet on politics, right? I was a politics student at the time, politics, law, human rights. So I'm doing my PhD in human rights at the moment. So that's my academic background, but I got deep into predictions markets way back then, got really excited about it, but I was really early in my builder's journey to actually build out a predictions market. So 5, 6 years later, when predictions markets are hot, I was able to team up with Jay, who's just joined us to actually build out shadow markets. And it's actually a really exciting time because the narrative is hot, obviously, but I think we found a real gap in the app layer space that requires shadow markets, right? A lot of the app layer we see right now, it's the experience is primarily on Telegram bots and Pro Tools, right? And those have their pros and cons for different reasons. But our case study for Shadow Markets is eToro. Maybe you guys have heard of eToro before.
Hmm.
It's a user-friendly trading platform, right? That you can trade stocks and ETFs on eToro. But how they got, and it's mainly geared towards beginners. But how they actually got big back in the day when I started investing in stocks and ETFs is through social copy trading. They made social copy trading of stocks and ETFs a thing. And we want to replicate a similar trajectory as them, where we're building a very user-friendly platform to onboard not our crypto natives, our degens, and people who are already very primed for Polymarket and these predictions markets, but really the next wave of adopters, people who are talking about predictions markets and they don't even know they're talking about it, right? This is stuff we're
Hmm.
seeing already in the space, or when we talk with our friends, right? It's slow. It was just mentioned on the Grammys, right? It's becoming a mainstream thing, and most of these users are not going to be using Telegram bots. That's a very crypto native thing, right? Like your sister, brother, or your grandpa, your dad probably doesn't use Telegram to do anything, quite frankly.
Hmm.
When you tell people you use Telegram for work, they ask if you're a drug dealer. So it's not the most ideal interface for these things, which is why me and Jay are really focused on the user experience of copy trading as a way of onboarding new users, and we'll grow from there.
Okay, great. And hi, Jay. Welcome to the show as well. Please feel free to introduce yourself, and if you want to add on what Tommy said about Shadow.
Yeah, sure. So, firstly, sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was just in another meeting.
No worries,
But
man.
yeah, I'm sure Tommy covered majority of it, but I'm basically on the engineering side, so I translate what Tommy sees on from user feedback perspective on Twitter, and doing all of the analysis on all of the other tools out there, and really just translate it into building a product that's user friendly, like he said. We wanted to kind of move away from the Pro Tools angle and just make it super simple for users to come onto the platform, onboard their money, whether that's crypto or through a fiat on-ramp, and just start copy trading as soon as possible. We know, yeah, like Tommy mentioned, with other platforms, they're either Telegram bots, which of course require you to have some prior crypto experience and some know-how on how to operate them. On top of that, it's also not the greatest UI or user experience where you're just chatting. So yeah, we kind of just wanted to fill that gap in the market and build out shadow markets so people could come on board, and yeah, we've had amazing responses so far. We're over 500 users in beta, in open beta at the moment. Total volume that we've driven is coming close to around 350,000, and that's just in the last month and a half to 2 months. So yeah, it's really promising, and really good to meet you guys as well.
Okay, great. I have the platform open here. I deposit $5 there, and just let me know if I'm doing this right. So I can follow here some top traders, and I can filter them by win rate. I can check the win rate here. I can just manage my position and start to copying whatever they do, right? That's it, basically.
That's correct. So some of the first traders that you'll see on the Discover tab, while they might be the most profitable traders, they may not necessarily be active. So if you go in the filters, there will be a toggle in there which lets you filter by active positions only. It's right at the bottom.
At the bottom. Okay.
So if you flip that on, then you'll see traders who actually have positions, and this will probably give you traders that are actively executing trades or hold positions at the moment. So maybe try and copy these guys and come back a little bit later, and you might see that it executed something on the back end.
Okay, and we can see here. So for example, I was copying this guy here, 80% win rate, but only 8 predictions. But we have people here with 26,000 predictions and the overall profits. Okay, then I just spotted a guy here who
So
lost.
it really depends
over
on your
$500,000.
strategy and like which the trader strategies that you want to follow, right? Like maybe it's like maybe the trader you found is an insider or you believe to be an insider, right? And like yes, they're not going to be making a lot of trades, but when they make a couple of trades, you want to be in on those trades. Or maybe you want to copy a trader whose strategy is to trade more often, right? And you want to see more positions every day and want to resolve, like have a positions that resolve every day, then you will copy a trader that has more positions, right? So I think with copy trading, it's not that you're fully letting go of the wheel, right? Like there's still some research here to be done, like some understanding about the traders that you're copying, because at the end of the day, copy trading can still be very risky. But here, instead of researching different markets and trying to become an expert at all these markets, you can actually become more an expert on what traders and what strategies are working. And that becomes a whole different game that I find quite interesting, because if you, on our platform, for example, select any of these traders, you can click on them and you can actually see their P&L calendar. So how much they're making each month, you can see their activities. So now users can have more of an understanding of what's going on in terms of the trader strategy and look a bit deeper under the hood and decide for themselves whether this is a trader that they want to copy or not. So whenever we're thinking about new tools or different features on our platform, it's always through this lens of, okay, our user is a very could be a beginner to predictions markets, or someone who's already trading on Polymarket or maybe copy trading, but they want a nicer experience. How do we help them pick better traders, but then also experiment with those traders and see how should they optimize accordingly, right? So once you're trading and whatnot, you're winning some trades, you're losing some trades that you're copying. What you'll actually see is a trader breakdown. So you can see per trader, how much have they won for you, how much have they lost for you, and you can actually optimize and put more money into the winning traders, for example, right? You can optimize and see which ones you want to, maybe you want to up the amount of money that you put in per trade, right? Like say with this one trader, I put $5 per trade, right? And I see that they're winning. Then I can say, okay, this trader is winning more consistently than this other trader. Let me reduce how much money I put into this trader's bet, but increase the ones that are winning, right? And then incrementally you can start like narrowing down which traders that you like and which ones you want to keep trading. I think it's a lot of experimenting.
Yeah, no, it's a different approach, and I mean, it's really interesting because we've been saying a lot here in the show how people potentially can find an edge in a kind of a specific market. It can be sports, politics, crypto, whatever. But this is different. I mean, you can kind of stop researching the market and research the traders, and then start to follow like the top traders. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys are positioned between the ultra researcher who are going to read everything, you're going to do everything, and the one who are going to set up a bot and try to leave the bot make everything. So you guys are in the middle. Is it correct to state something like that?
I'd say so. I'd say right now the platform is really in a sweet spot where both beginners can get into it very easily, and for pro traders or people who are quite aggressive in predictions markets to make use of all these other research tools and then come back to use Polymarket. Because there are very interesting things and different projects that are doing different things around, like providing a copy trading score for different traders, for example. So that's very interesting, right? Different projects, analytic platforms are trying to determine who is actually good traders to copy. So I think our platform is very primed for you to use those research platforms, research as much as possible, do your own research, but you're not confined to obviously the traders that are populated on our platform. If you find a trader, say on Twitter, you're reading some threads, or in your Discord, you guys are sharing different traders or whatnot, you can go take that trader's address and put it into our search bar, and actually then the trader's profile will come up. So yeah, you don't only need to use our filters, but use all the tools you can. But our platform is really focused on being a really great user-friendly execution layer.
Okay, amazing. So let's move forward. Let me ask you about this post that I saw you guys here the other day. I think it was on Sunday. It was a hot take here. Prediction markets will be bigger than stock trading by 2030. Why? Because you can't bet on anything. Will AI replace my job? Will this startup succeed? Will this policy pass? Real-world events are greater than abstract tickers. And copy trading will be how most people participate. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Is it too bullish, or do you think it's feasible?
I mean, maybe because I made this post, I could just have a go, and then Jay can share his takes. I just say Jay doesn't have to subscribe to all my takes either, or the Meta Market account. But I think like there's merit to this take, and there's just maybe a bit of hyperbole there, right? Like I think predictions markets are going to be huge. I think like the way it's going to consume traditional betting is just something that is something we don't see very often, where a new format is able to just take over a whole industry ultimately. I think, will it be as big as stock trading? I think it'll get very, very big, but to reach the volume that is driven in traditional finance, it's going to be very tough to reach that level. But why it could potentially reach that level is because, again, not everyone's interested in stocks, not everyone's interested in companies, the economy and whatnot. With predictions markets, there is really something for everybody, right? Unless you really don't have interest, which is just another problem in itself. But like, there's really something for everyone, and everyone's an expert in something, I hope. Whether it's sports, there's got to be something you're very into and that you have some edge in relative to other people. And that's that's a very low barrier to entry for a lot of people. So I think as we move forward, we'll just see many more people get into predictions markets.
But what do you think is the biggest, or it will going to be the biggest unlock for prediction markets? What do you think it's going to make the click, and then okay, prediction markets are mainstream, or do you think they already are?
Well, I think they're getting mainstream. I think the user experience is the biggest unlock, right? Because as we understand it right now, when we talk to normal people or even people within the space, like there's always the debates between, is this gambling or is this closer to something in stocks, right? Like that's something like when I explain to someone what a predictions market is, they always instinctively think, oh, betting. And then I have to explain, oh, but you can actually make money like this, and there's all these different ways, so it's closer to stock trading. And then they're like, aha, but then this is already too much explanation for like a mass consumer audience, right? Like it should be really much easier than that. So how we get there is, I'm interested to see how, because for me, it's like I'm interacting with a lot of people my age or a bit older, right? For me, I feel like there's these debates going on. Is it betting? Is it stock trading? But if you ask a very young, much younger audience who are much more internet native, they're crypto native from the get-go, out of the womb, it seems. I feel like, where I used to play games under the table in school, these kids are trading on Polymarket. And that's the audience that we need to consider. There's an audience that is going to be way more crypto native or prediction market primed than we are at the moment, right? But need to hear what Jay's take on this is as well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a hot take. I do understand where Tommy is coming from, in the sense that they will be bigger, but I think it may not be bigger in the sense that volume might be larger on predictions markets, but it definitely has the power to penetrate in mainstream media more than stock trading. Like, for example, obviously we know there's billions of dollars of volume in stock trading, there's hedge funds and all of these people partaking. But for regular people like ourselves, to bet on these outcomes or put our money where our mouth is about our opinions, I think that has a lot more merit, because not everyone is inclined to invest in stocks, right? Like you have to have a certain type of mindset, some free time to do your research and that sort of thing. But if you are an expert in a particular field, like you know your sports, your basketball, and you're on the couch, you're watching basketball every day, and you've anecdotally been able to predict, like, okay, which team is going to win, who's going to score how many points. If you can actually, with the click of a button, put your opinion out there and actually get something from it, I think that's something much more tangible than putting your money into stocks. So yeah, I believe that it will be bigger in that sense, where it's more accessible and people will be able to do something with their opinions. And yeah, Polymarket and these abstraction layers, like for example, even shadow markets is an abstraction on top of Polymarket, allowing you to just have a better user experience. I think those will be the biggest unlocks to making sure that this is more widely adopted.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys that prediction markets feel more natural for people to interact with than the traditional markets, stock markets, and whatever. So okay, moving forward here. Yesterday we had this, and guys, from now on, feel free to jump on to share your opinions. We are going to cover some news, what's going on. And yesterday we got this post here. Hyperliquid is testing a native prediction markets on testnet. So this is from Ignazify, and why he states why Hyperliquid's HIP for its school. So if outcomes composed with perps, you can long it plus buy it on below 2K outcome as a hedge, and your margin drops because the positions offset each other. Polymarket or Cauchy can't do this. And another innovation is permissionless deployment. Polymarket curates its market, but if Hyperliquid lets anyone create markets, the long tail of degen markets opens up. This to me seems to be a huge unlock for prediction markets as well. And as we are going to see here, we also see Polymarket expanding to Jupiter. So it seems prediction markets are going everywhere. It can be on Hyperliquids or Polymarket on Jupiter on Jupiter, which is something new. I have my doubts on how this is going to happen technically, because so far we've been Kalshi positions being tokenized on Solana, but especially what do you guys think about Hyperliquidity implementing prediction markets, like native prediction markets on their chain?
Well, from my side, I think it's a great thing, because the one issue that I'm seeing right now with the growth is the liquidity. So a lot of the order books now are quite thin, especially on markets that are quite like niche. You might have markets which have maybe like $3,000 to $4,000 of liquidity, and then if you try and place an order there, then it's going to generally be sitting in the order book for a long time. Not something that you generally see with other types of markets, even meme coins. You definitely don't see it with stocks or foreign like FX. As soon as you place an order, obviously if it's a market order, it will get executed. But a lot of the times with illiquid markets on Polymarket or Kalshi or even Opinion Labs, it's much harder. So once these bigger platforms, market makers make their way onto predictions market and start providing that liquidity, I think it will be a huge unlock, not just for crypto native people, but for other people as well who are not really aware of what Hyperliquid is or what on-chain is. So yeah, I think it's a net positive. How that plays out from a regulatory standpoint and how it works technically, that's kind of still in the air, but that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah. I think this represents a massive unlock of capital, because people are already deploying a lot of capital on Hyperliquid. It can be for farming, for just using Hyperliquid at all. But if you add another layer of options for people to use there, that's a huge unlock. And Hyperliquid, it seems to be becoming what I've been saying, these super apps that I think that a lot of native DeFi apps are going to become, just like Jupiter. It's not going to surprise me that in a few years people are going to have their Hyperliquid or on their phone, and they are going to treat that as a bank app or a new bank app or whatever. Yeah,
definitely. I hope that's the direction they actually go down, because like the Hyperliquid community is actually very strong, and they have like almost a cultish type following. And I think it's interesting that they're like experimenting with these predictions markets, because DeFi and predictions markets have become like a hot topic in itself. We see like projects like Gondor who are experimenting with like DeFi and predictions markets, collateralizing your Polymarket positions, for example. So like having Hyperliquid, which is like, very famous for their DeFi primitives, and having them experiment with predictions markets, I think the closeness of those two is going to breed something quite interesting. But Hyperliquid has a good track record, so we can see how that develops.
Yeah.
I'm not so bullish on the Hyperliquid thing. I think obviously it's going to be really cool, and it will for crypto native people. I think it's going to be really awesome. They don't touch outside of there, so they're not going to be bringing new people in to crypto. Particularly, I don't know if you've ever tried to. I was talking to somebody who was going to build a prediction market on Hype, but their building infrastructure is not very good, and they've also they don't really have any fiat on and off ramps. You need to go through Arbitrum. This is an immediate blocker for anybody who isn't crypto native, even for people who are crypto native that can't be bothered with it. Because they have Hype USDC, but they don't have it on any of the major on and off ramps. So you might as well not have it at that point. Might as well just use Tether. So I think they need to do some more partnerships and do more business development around their chain to try actually make it more accessible to everyday people.
That's what I was about to ask. Do you think it's a matter of time to implementing all these on ramps and other dev tools?
I think it's money and time, right? because they'll have to pay. I was so surprised that they had their own like native USDC, but didn't have like MoonPay or anybody like that support it. I was in the community and I was like, where's the fiat on and off ramps? And somebody shared some like really obscure fiat on and off ramp, and I was like, yeah, nobody's using that. So like, you get like how many millions of dollars a month in fees, and you just haven't went out and done any business development to bring new people in. What are you guys doing? Go do that. Sort that out.
Yeah, it is still really crypto native, and yeah. So from the Hyperliquid, I think Nick Presler summarized really well something here. It's everywhere money flows has integrated prediction markets in the past year. Consumer trading platforms like Coinbase and Robinhood, institutional trading platforms like Bloomberg and Interactive Broker, and gambling platforms like PrizePicks and DraftKings, and crypto like Phantom and MetaMask. Now Hyperliquid. Consumer demand has proven to be off the charts. Now institutional demand will follow. Yeah, I think institutional demand, it still are going to take some time. I was talking to I forgot his name yesterday. Damn, Andrew. Oh, I was talking to Andrew on Twitter. We've been seeing about this theory about the use of prediction market as hedge or a new kind of insurance, but this is still really theoretical. We are not seeing actually this being implemented, because I think the liquidity is one challenge for this still. Sure. Yes. Okay, something that just came out. Sorry, you guys mentioned Gondor, and something that just came out. It's Pandora, and Pandora is unlocking parlays on top of Polymarket as well. And what we see here, then I lost that. Okay, talking about parlays, we see the number of, they call combos on Kalshi, but they are parlays as well. It's increasingly increasing. I mean, it's exponentially increasing. So we see here a new integration, Pandora allowing people to combine predictions on the top of Polymarket, and how people are doing kind of the same here in Kalshi. So there is demand for this.
So is that a layer built on top of Polymarket that allows you to build your own combos based on what markets are in Polymarket?
That's it. It seems that it allows you to combine your predictions on multiple Polymarket, because it's not something native. It's not a feature that is native on Polymarket. Yeah.
That is so degenerate. It's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a classic gambling primitive, right? Parlays. So like, of course, it was coming to predictions markets sooner or later.
Yeah, but I mean, this chart here from Dash, dude, it shows there is demand for that. There's clearly demand.
It's one of the biggest, because in the Europe they're called the accumulator. They are the biggest. They are the biggest. Like, because they're so people casually bet on them. I think I've said this before, like friends of mine who aren't even bettors will just go into the betting shop as they walk past it. In the UK, we have betting shops, so we're not like that worried about gambling as it is in the US. It's very, very normal, but it's for casual betting, I think.
And so talking about casual betting, this is interesting. This got my attention here. So live Twitch streams are now in esports market. So finally, live betting where you actually see what's happening. So it's embedded on Polymarket now. So you see the market there, you want to bet on that, and you can see the stream. You can see what's going on for esports, which is pretty cool. It would. So you guys mentioned oh no, sorry, it was another call. I've been having so many calls that I'm getting mixed with this. But the guy was just talking about the Olympics. So imagine being able to watch the UFC inside Polymarket platform. I don't know, they could offer. They already have this partnership with UFC. So I don't know. Maybe if you are subscribed to whatever allows you to watch the UFC games, you just plug in your account and you are able to make your predictions while you watch inside the platform. I think that's a huge unlock, but it's already
I think this is a huge user unlock, and it's same with the UFC partnerships. I think the partnerships that put Polymarkets or any prediction market right in front of a base of users who aren't necessarily crypto native. I mean, there will be a lot of crypto native, but Twitch is actually quite on the platform, so it's got a lot of older people in it. Still streaming, people like older than me. So I think this is great for user experience. I think more so than stuff like Yahoo Finance and news sites. Like, I think the stuff where you just get regular people seeing that everywhere, that's the generational shift that I think we'll get.
Yeah, and yeah,
it's interesting
ahead,
because that user experience really reminds me of Betfair. If you guys have used that, like a sports betting app, and you have the sports streams kind of just embedded in there. So yeah, it mirrors the actual sports betting flow that normal people would be used to as well. It's just, I guess they're transacting on chain rather than using fiat.
So that's kind of like one thing that I repeatedly say in the shows, because I've worked in the betting industry. The betting industry hasn't even showed up to this game yet, and when they do, Polymarket and Kalshi will actually have problems, because these guys actually know how to monetize user bases. A lot of them already have user bases. They also have like huge syndicates that provide liquidity to very finite stuff. So like they just don't understand crypto. But if they build a regular prediction market, it doesn't. Who says prediction markets need to have crypto rails? They don't, right? There's betting exchanges which are very similar to crypto, to prediction markets. And I think it'll be really interesting, because I think Tommy was saying that it's going to eat the sports betting industry. I think it's actually going to be more like how they'll meet in the middle, kind of like crypto and banking. So like MD, who's been around in crypto for a while, it was Bitcoin was be your own bank, and it was going to eat the banking industry. But the banking industry is incredibly powerful and rich. So is the betting industry. So you're not going to see it being consumed without a fight, and more likely you're going to see it merge and probably take over the prediction market space, because these guys have billions in revenue every year. I would think Polymarket and Kalshi would struggle to get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm just sorry. While you were saying, I was just trying to foresee the future here. And imagine having a plugin that you can just turn on, and you can have embedded a copy trade tool powered by Shadow Market here, and you can say, okay, I'm seeing this guy, he's making some money. Let me plug in on this.
It's an extension. Right? You need to build a browser extension that kind of hovers over the Polymarket. There you go. That's your next product, guys.
See?
One thing about your product that I meant to ask: are you flagging like accounts that you believe to be bots versus like just regular people trading?
That's it's a good question. A lot of the times we're not automatically tagging them right now, because it's a hard question to actually solve for. Like, how do you know if someone's actually a bot? Obviously, you can go on to their activity on Polymarket, and if they're placing like 5 trades every second, then you can pretty much tell that they're a bot, or they have a lot of limit orders set. But there can also be bots which are not as high frequent, like they might place 5 to 10 trades a day, but from our perspective, or our human eye, it's going to look like it's a regular person placing those trades. So I don't think there's inherently an accurate way for us to detect if someone is a bot, unless there are other integrations that come through where people are using execution layer outside of Polymarket, and you can kind of deduce that on chain if it's coming through Polymarket or some other provider. But at the current moment, there's no easy way to tell, unfortunately.
Especially with these everybody vibe coding their own bots nowadays, with cloud bots, and everybody wants to, I don't know, to be an engineer or whatever. And and I even going to mention a few articles here later in the show that people are teaching how to set up bots to copy trade. So I think we are going to see way more bots in the near future. Okay, one more launch here. This is from Facts, and Facts is built by Polyfactual, actually. So they built their own version of Fear and Greed Index for Polymarket event contracts, now live in their terminal. I mean, it's a small feature, but I think it's the kind of thing that makes prediction market easier to the regular user to understand. So it's pretty cool. I wanted to highlight this. Also, I saw this from Mert. Mert is the CEO from Helion. It's a quick demo of check price prediction market flow. It's a new kind of prediction market. It seems to be only related to crypto prices right now. But I mean, where can they go from here, right? So it just shows how the space, it doesn't stop. So I had the lineup for the show ready last night, and I had to make additions this morning because there was already new stuff going on. So
moves quick. It moves quick.
Yes.
Yeah, bro, it's moving really fast. And by the way, let me show our stuff here. If you are listening to the show but you don't want to follow, don't want to get behind anything that's going on, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter at dollartrade.xyz. The newsletter goes out twice a week, and every Saturday I send This Week in Prediction Market with it's just a compilation of all the news with links, so you can check that out, and a lot of articles here as well. So if you, like me, like to read the articles that you bookmarked but you didn't read during the week, that's your chance. Okay, next big unlock for Prediction Market. Prediction Markets live on Grammy. So we've been seeing Prediction Markets last week. Shane Copland shared how Polymarket was being featured on the UFC fights. We have Kalshi partnerships with CNN and CNBC now in the Grammys. So I don't know if you can call this super cycle, but it feels like we are getting to the beginning of something that will be called the super cycle of prediction markets. Did you guys see this live?
Away from super cycle.
Yeah, this was hilarious.
Okay, let me share this. This is about the bonding markets. I don't know what's going on since my connection is not good. But I'm gonna, if we are not able to see this, okay, let me see if I can share this. It's about the bonding. We always see people talking about bonding, and they keep saying how it seems to be kind of a guarantee win. But here we see Logan and Predict Market Trader just sharing the risks of this. Let me play this for us really quick.
I think it can make sense if you never mess up, but like you're also gonna think it's going great, almost guaranteed, for a while because
the life of
you're buying stuff at 99 odds, and so you can win even if you're buying at 99 and the actual like fair value's 95 or 98 or something. You're not going to realize that you're making negative EV plays for quite a while most of the time. I think it can make sense if you never mess up, but like you're also gonna.
Well, good luck not messing up.
Messing and stops. Perfect timing.
That's it. I mean, there's no guarantees that it's going to work, and we've been seeing even with markets priced at 99%. I mean, and then you go to sleep, and the other day when you wake up, you see there was something with the resolution, and people are discussing the resolution, and everything goes off. So I mean, there is no such thing as no risk, and it's good to see some people highlighting. I mean, the risks that exist. Even with these so-called bonding markets, there is always some level of risk involved. Just like for example, in DeFi protocols.
Like how the narrative has shifted. Like a couple of months ago, it was like, oh my God, there's these bonded markets. Everybody should get into them. And you had all these fucking content creators creating loads of content around bonded markets. And then a couple of people get totally wiped on them. And now the narrative has changed. It's not like you couldn't see that further off, but it was the topic to talk about.
Yeah, it was something like, okay, how you can make $10,000 a day with these markets, and then okay, start with $1 million and buy positions at 99%, and you can make 1%. Yeah, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But talking about big wings, let me share this with you guys. It's amazing. So by the way, you can follow this on Shadow. This is not an advice, but it's something you can do. You can track Car wallet on Shadow Market, right? And he was just sharing it here. Okay, huge milestone. Just hit 900K profit and loss across all my 3 accounts combined. Last step to $1 million. And fuck, it's a huge profit. And I asked him, he said he's trading with he started to trade with $500,000. So he almost doubled his money here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's small investment.
A good example of somebody knows what they're doing, right?
It's a small investment, right?
Yeah.
Small investment.
In my sofa, I found 500 grand. And just put it on Polymarket.
Full port from the couch to.
And then this is from Doomer as well. So slightly deep dive on FedChair, second biggest win of my career. This is really good because he actually shares and explains how he was trading this, and it was his second biggest win. Over the course of the past 5 months, I've been trying to predict Trump's FedChair nomination as well as the timing of the announcement. Rewind to late November, early December, Kevin Hassett stood at 60%, and the peak seemed potentially imminent. I had large paper losses and was in the red for about 200K, was on track to my second biggest loss. And then he explains here how he changed that to make it his second biggest win. So I advise you, if you are trading these kinds of markets, to follow Doomer and go through his content and read it. How is it doing this? It's going to be shared on the newsletter tomorrow. And here is from.
He's out of our feed, but he was. I've missed him for months, like 2 months. He's not really been around on our feed.
Dude, I've been. No, I
we're
don't
seeing
have
him
but,
again.
Yeah. I don't know if he was not tweeting that much lately.
Yeah.
But what I advise for these guys, just turn on notifications like this. For some of them, I have notifications.
No,
this is the only way.
Definitely turn it on. Like Car, him.
Yeah.
Stands.
And yeah, so Doomer takes home a combined $400,000 across his FedChair trades. It's his largest win since picking Kamala and the Democrat nominee. Yes, so made waves to almost $500,000.
Is that him? Is that what he looks like?
I don't know if that's him. I always think about him like this guy here.
Generation guy or Colin Doomer.
Yeah.
It's like,
this is him. This is him for me anyway. But yeah, right after that he was complaining about this expiration. So the still broken Polymarket expiration system has produced another doozy. A reading log of a cranky caller talking about baby sacrifice and brains being turned into mush was determined to be evidence of blackmail uncovered in the Epstein files. So it comes back to the resolution criteria of market, which is something that we've been talking about here in the show for a long time, and there's a lot of complaints about that. So users trading the 2 million market woke up to a yes being paid out overnight this morning based on unsubstantiated nonsense. Stop me if you heard this one before, but the biggest profiter was AE News, who determined the crank call should qualify as evidence. So this is a critique around the Polymarket resolution system as well. It's not the first time we see this kind of stuff. It is still a pain for prediction markets. This is why I always talk about make sure to read the rules and understand the rules. I always remember the Lord Miles market. Did you guys were around? Did you guys follow what happened with the Lord Miles market? Do you remember that?
I think it's it just resolved the way that people didn't want it to resolve. No?
Yeah, I mean he was live streaming his challenge to be in the desert for like 30 days, and suddenly the live stream went off. Nobody knew what happened, and it was.
He was dead, and we've never had any
for a while.
That's it. Pretended he's dead before and come back from the dead. Like arguably, it should never have been a market was ever created on Polymarket. That's the sort of market you'd have on like Hype, right? But not on the Truth engine because it was nonsense. What's your guys' take on resolution processes? Like how they could be improved, or just general thoughts around it? Because it's like if we want all this to scale, we do need to find ways to make it resolve equal to like a stock market would resolve or a sports book. But right now it's a bit like, let's see.
Do you have a take, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, for the multiple outcomes markets, I think it's a little bit more nuanced to come up with a resolution strategy. Like specifically, like you shared the threads about the Epstein files or anything related to those markets. Like it becomes very difficult to, or for whoever is deciding on the resolution to determine what the truth is, right? Like, for example, if there's some piece of evidence which people deem to be factual at this point in time, and then later down the road that is debunked, well, what happens to the market, right? So I think those kinds of markets definitely should have resolution rules pretty strict, or if there is any, I guess, scope for those resolutions to be ambiguous, then those shouldn't be markets, in my opinion. But for binary markets, like sports, yes or no, spreads, I think those are very simple. So I don't have a problem with them personally, but yeah, I can see how it would rub people the wrong way if they've, bet a certain side of it.
We've seen those issues in mention markets as well, right? There was a Trump one where Trump didn't say the word, but somebody shouted the word, and they were like, it was said as a mention market. I don't know where Diego went. He's disappeared. I'm gonna let him back in. Diego, come back. Oh, he's gone. I'll be back. But yeah, so it's a tricky one, because I feel like the broadest base of expansion is going to be around pop culture or cultural markets rather than sport. Like sports betting is baked in, right? Imagine if we just lifted what we have now and moved it over. That's the size of it. Stock markets, you can do the same. But where prediction markets become different in their own entity is when with the events contracts, and seeing like you can make it on anything, any sort of event that happens. But how do we resolve those? Because I think we want that. I think we enjoy that. I think it's fun. But how do we resolve it in a way it's fair? Do those markets maybe need longer, like windows to resolve? Maybe a 30-day window. Like, for example, the Epstein thing. Somebody would, from the protocol or some AI, would need to go through the documents, show you the document that it's talking to, and allow you and allow a human to make a judgment on it, or a collection of humans make a judgment on it. Because I think if we don't solve that, we won't see like that parabolic move around disparate categorized markets, which I think will be the most fun and interesting ones long term.
Yeah, it's just difficult because these users a lot of users don't want to understand the resolution mechanism in itself, but they do want that balance between like instant resolution, and ultimately we can't really achieve a very fair resolution system if it doesn't take a bit of time with different markets. As builders, like we're seeing like I guess we're on the end of this sometimes when we get complaints by users like, why isn't this resolved? Why isn't this happening fast enough? Are my funds lost? No, your funds are not lost. Polymarket resolution is just very, very long process sometimes.
And it's because they're used to balance betting, right? Like they're used to immediate resolutions. Yeah. But when you send it into an oracle where there's meant to be a consensus gathered, you're not getting immediate. It's like trying to get a government to make a decision. It's going to take a period of time to make that happen.
I think something that we need to solve it. Yes, something that Jay mentioned, that it's about, I mean, if you don't have a kind of a clear way to resolve that market, I mean, maybe that market should not exist. I mean, in this stage that we have in the industry, I highlighted this. I think that for different markets, we will need different kinds of resolution. So for binary stuff, if we are tracking like sports, and if we're tracking the price of commodity, coins, this kind of stuff, it's really clear what's the source of truth. So that's the source of truth. But when there is nuance, it's then things are get a little bit more complicated. And I always bring back the Zelensky suit discussion. Fuck, man. I mean, it's in my personal opinion, that's a useless market And if you don't have a clear way to resolve the market, I think that brings more harm to the industry than makes good for traders.
Yeah. And I think it makes so, and you see this particularly in the US, but we haven't seen it because prediction markets haven't made it out of the US really, right? But it gives like the sports books lobbying groups a wedge to push back on. These are dangerous. They hurt users. People lose money. Like you can build a really, like, it's self-inflicted as well. You can build a really good harm narrative around this to push into Congress in the US or in the UK, for example, like the gaming commissions and stuff like that. It's a very easy narrative. Look at all these people have lost money. Look at all these complaints. Look at all these tweets. So it's trying to avoid negative outputs, and they're causing it themselves. I think the Lord Miles was a good example of, like, you didn't need to do that. It didn't make you a lot of money, and it just seemed harmful to you guys and the rest of the industry and probably your users.
Yeah. So let me share my screen here again as we walk to the last part of the show. I just want to highlight the top articles that I saw last few days. And dude, 2026 is the year of articles on X. So all the links, we don't have time to go through all of them, of course, but the links to all of them you can find on tomorrow's newsletter, dollartrade.xyz. So this is from Dynamit. It's all ways to earn on Polymarket. I mean, maybe you should read if you want to earn something on Polymarket. Next one, prediction market tooling you need to print money. I just hope that Zeets mention shadow market here. If not, guys, ping him, tag shadow market here. I didn't go to the list, but I mean, it seems to be a long list with a lot of different tools, with a lot of different use cases.
We'll go drop it in the comments.
Yeah. And wow, this one caught my attention. 1.5 million views for this article here. So the math needed for trading on Polymarket, complete roadmap. So if you like math, this might be the article for you. Cloud, we mentioned this. So the Cloud bought for Polymarket printed for almost $500,000 in 1 month. And there's the article, how Cloud plus Polymarket will retire you. Almost 2 million views. I don't know if you are playing around. It's a good hook, of course. I mean, so that's the thing. If you are playing around vibe coding, creating your own bot, maybe this is the kind of bot you want to try to explore. I don't know if they work. We are going to see a lot of people saying about these big numbers, but yeah, maybe it's something that you should try. This is from Yannick, and this is interesting because this is an interview. So he created a real vibe code Polymarket bot and gave him $200. And then he goes through the interview here to talk about what happened with this. It's different. It's not kind of a do-it-yourself article. This one is really, really interesting. So Gonzalo, they're building on top of ZK technology to create a kind of a prediction market with privacy. So, I mean, it's a huge opportunity for insiders, but it's a way to protect your position. So nobody knows exactly who are playing behind these prediction markets.
Yeah, that's what you'll probably want for institutional grade stuff, where you don't want them to see where the money's moving, because that also affects the market.
That's it. How to win at prediction markets in 1 day. Okay, that's a good hook as well. The time is money prediction market decision short. This is from Denning. We covered her charts last week. She was just talking about sports markets and different kinds of markets. They get liquidity, like sports markets get liquidity really fast early in the beginning, while other kinds of markets get it later. And now she shared this. So the option value of waiting in prediction markets, a structural theory of value, timing, entry. It's something's missing here, but okay, of value, timing.
Teamy.
Yes. Teamy. Yeah, this is a really depth article, but it's a really interesting one, and it expands on what she explored in this post that we commented last week. Okay, this is just a shout out to our friends from Mimico and Prediction Market. Why this is quietly the best time to build in crypto? Because I know we have a lot of builders and founders reading the newsletter as well. So just wanted to give them a shout out. And this is a nice article about building, especially in this crab to bear market. Is AI any good at predicting? We've been seeing people talking about these different styles of these different kinds of AI and how they are performing. Some perform better than others. Last week we talked about the project who's building on top of Grok, and they got a really good accuracy level. So this is the last article for today. Just to reference from Synthesis, and the guys from Synthesis are going to be in the show in a few weeks. We're excited to announce our weekly research program to accelerate research around prediction markets. Each week we will give out $1,000. If you want to participate, read below to learn how. So if you are writing, if you are researching, if you are creating content around prediction market, this could be a good opportunity for you guys. And this Polydrip dress is stylish, completely free to rebrand with Polydrip. This I just saw this. Just thought this is really fun. So transform any PFP photo for your Polymarket posts in just 2 clicks. And then you can put a Polymarket branding on top of whatever you're using on your post. And I just thought it's really fun. To give a shout out. So guys, thanks a lot for joining us in the show today. Please let people know how they can follow you, how they can follow Shadow Markets, please.
Of course, they can trade. They can copy trade the best copy traders on Polymarket at shadowmarkets.app, and they can also follow our updates at shadowmarkets_. That's our X handle, and they can of course then find our Discord link and join our community where we're sharing different strategies. People post their different wins. But yes, shadowmarkets.app is where you want to be, and Shadow Markets is actually available as on mobile as well. You just have to open up Shadow Markets on your phone, add it to your home screen, and there's a mobile native experience there for people.
Pretty cool. So thanks a lot, Tommy. Thanks a lot, Jay. It was great having you guys in the show. And if you're listening to us or watching us, make sure to subscribe to the dollartrade.xyz. This is our newsletter. Make sure to follow us. And we go live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:30 EST. Nick, thanks a lot for being here with me today once again, my brother.
Thanks, dude.
Shout out, guys. Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a good one, you all.
Take care. Appreciate it.